I mean, take out the fat thing. I think everybody wants to be healthy. I think a lot of times it becomes something that women will do something about before men will. But maybe that's just my experience with it, and maybe that's because it's who I'm connected with, and most of my friends are women, and it's something that we talk about. I mean, you hang around a bunch of girls. Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to complain about feeling we're fat, our clothes don't fit, we're bloated. Like these are like legit girl talks. We're going to complain about some dude or a woman, whoever you're into, and probably going to complain about our hair or our job or our skin or whatever. But it really, when we're complaining about our health, and fortunately I've got something that's going to address all of those things, it's the normal conversation. I don't know what men talk about because I don't generally go play poker with them or go golfing with them or play soccer and baseball. Maybe they talk about the same thing. I don't know. But they talk about how crazy women are. That's possible. And fair.
Divorce.
They're fair. That's fair.
Divorce.
Yeah, they're going to talk about their divorces.
And then you just see all men just crying about that.
Yeah.
Men in this day and age, we don't have a lot of social groups.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of guy friends. After you get out of school, you don't meet a lot of guy friends, and women are actually much better at being friends than guys are.
Absolutely.
Because we, this is not psychological advice, it's not social advice. I'm not trained in any of those fields, but just from the guys I've spoke to, anecdotal, I'm sure I'm completely wrong, so please tell me in the comments where I'm an idiot. All right. Once you get out of sporting events or getting out of that, intramurals, we're like in the gym, we're looking good, but we're off in our own little selves, or we're reading books, trying to get an edge on things. And you know what? Who succeeds is that dude that comes in there like he's a frat boy who slaps us on the butt and makes us feel like we're boys again.
Well, community is everything, and it's hard to find.
But we don't really have even religious groups. Guys in religious groups, they don't really talk because we're so obsessive about things, and we get around the horn about a lot of. We have this. There's an idea called narcissism of minor differences. It is created by a famous psychologist, and he said that the smaller the differences, the more we fight over them. The more vicious we fight over them. Civil wars are the most vicious wars. And when we have the smaller differences, it's just sort of the closer someone is to you, the more you fight with them. That's important.
Absolutely.
But
yeah, I mean, look at when you're out to dinner, you could be in a complete argument with your spouse, but as soon as the waiter comes over, you're like, "Oh, hi, thank you so much," and then they leave, and you're like, "F you," it's and it's unfortunate. But yeah, I totally agree that community and culture is what we're all looking for, and it does become really, really challenging after college. I mean, unless you're doing something like a sport, like an adult sports league, there's just not a lot of opportunities for that because it's important for us to work so we can support our bills and things like that. But it doesn't make it
handcuffs.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it any less important. And you're right. I think that women are a little bit better at purposely, intentionally creating those things, like book clubs and bunko and whatever the parties that we'll throw for ourselves or girls. I mean, I know that there's guys' nights and guys' trips, but I find that there's a lot more. Girls put a little bit more effort into it from what I've seen.
Yeah, they do. I don't know.
It'd probably be weird for dudes to have a book club, maybe, and that's probably just stereotypical. Because let's be real, we ain't talking about books at book club. We're talking about our weight, our husbands, our wives, our kids, and it's usually.
Gosh, that is a shame. It's almost like we don't even read. I know men read. What are we doing? I guess we don't have any free time.
We do. You just said that you're scrolling through YouTube, right?
Scrolling through YouTube. Yeah, but that's not real communication with people, and you get it's not I find podcasting. I love podcasting.
Same.
because I get to hear two people having conversations, but that's not it's not the same as you having a conversation with somebody else.
Yeah.
Even if we're too garbagey at it, it's a muscle that you have to build and you have to get good at. So you lost 45 pounds.
I did.
You burned it off.
I did not find it. I did not find it again.
You did not find it again?
I didn't. Even when I was pregnant. I found some of it when I was pregnant, but not all of it. And then I lost it again.
Okay, good for you.
Thank you.
When people say the hard to lose pounds, what are they referring to? Like the hard to lose, you know what I'm talking about? The hard to lose.
Yeah, it's like the last 5, it's the last 10. And it's usually the smallest things that need to be tweaked, and then it's time. It's consistency over time is how anything's accomplished. And it's if you're inconsistent and you have expectations that the time is going to be different than what it is, because I don't have a magic 8 ball. I don't know if it's going to take somebody a week to lose 5 pounds or a year to lose 5 pounds. I wish I did, because I'd be a bazillionaire if I did. But it's being consistent with those healthy habits, allowing it to be enjoyable so that you want to be consistent with something. And then, of course, sometimes adding in physical activity is a big piece as well, too. But yeah, I think that's the number one thing, is the consistency over time.
So we're going to edit all that out and just say magic.
Hashtag magic.
Hashtag
magic pill. It's the skinny tea, actually. That's what it is. You just do the skinny tea, and you don't have to stop eating pizza. You just take this magical drink or magical pill. But that is ultimately, you got icing on your hands. How about that? I got some on my pants, too. I think it's like icing.
Wonderful. Okay.
I know.
Child's birthday party.
I know. Here we go. But yeah, I think that's what it is. It's the being willing to make the small changes, because it's the small things that are having to carry around the extra. And we're all guilty of it. Like for me, I know that if I want to tweak things just a little bit, it's not having wine, or it's not having my kids' snacks. And it might seem insignificant to have a handful of snacks a day, but calorically speaking, if I am burning 1,500 calories, for example, and I'm eating 1,500 calories, and then every day I'm having a handful of Max snacks, as I call them, his name's Max, those extra 200 calories, 100 calories, whatever it is, you multiply that out by 7, you multiply that out by 30 days in a month, it abso-freaking-lutely adds up. And that's why, and you have to be willing to not do and it might be just one little stupid thing like that, that in the moment seems like it's no big deal, but it's compounding over time. That's why it's not doing one thing that might seem insignificant, but it is. But it's also having one salad will not make you skinny, just like having one piece of pizza isn't going to make you fat. But if you have a piece of pizza every single day, obviously, again, not necessarily talking about just weight loss, because to me, health is so much more than weight loss. If you're healthy, weight loss takes care of itself. I'm not saying being healthy is going to give you abs, because there's other things that are going to be involved with that as well too. But if you're healthy, you're just going to feel better. And if you feel better, you want to keep doing it.
Eating your emotions. Like my father was a little bit larger of a gentleman, and when you get down to your ideal weight, do you feel like you feel more things, you feel more emotions at that point? Do you think that sometimes having that layer of fat protects you against certain emotions?
That's a good question. There is a whole piece of nutrition that's, I don't even know if it's a whole piece or if they're just twin sisters, but psychology, like what your belief systems are around food, is absolutely going to affect your nutrition, because emotional eating is kind of a choice. Like it's always going to be a choice, with not only what you're sticking in your face is the fact that you are sticking something in your face. And a lot of times when you deal with, and this is probably why I haven't delved into the realm of severe obesity and helping lose weight, because there's so much more than eat this, don't eat that. There's the belief systems that maybe there's value tied to it. Maybe I'm not important enough to not eat this, or I don't really matter enough to take care of my own health. And it's way deeper than just don't eat this. Kind of feels like it might be a little bit above my pay grade, but I definitely think that there is a huge psychology piece tied to, especially when you get into extreme weight gain or even extreme weight loss.
Right.
There's always a psychological piece to it.
Yeah, I learned from the Burrell Institute about the emotions going into the organs. And so what organ relates to what emotion?
Yeah.
So for men or for women, everyone, in your stomach, that's where your social life is. So you get restrictions there. Men get a lot of restrictions in their stomach. Their social life's not that great. You know, you can have a bunch of money, but you know, who are you stacking up the cash for, guy? You know, you're gonna die in a few years, and you're not gonna have a single memory.